Hello students, this is K.M. Varaprasad, Head of Computer Science and Engineering Department, DBS IT, Kavali. In this video, we are discussing the subject Computer Organization, Unit 4. Now, this is Input-Output Organization. Already, we discussed the first 3 units in this topic. Those are the computer fundamentals and some arithmetic is there, computer arithmetic is there, and then some memory unit also discussed. Now coming to the unit 4, this is input-output organization. In this one, how we are connecting the inputs and outputs to the processor, how the processor can access the data, and how the processor can store the data. These are the concepts we are discussing in this unit. Processors are high-speed devices. It can process some lakhs of information, lakhs of instructions in a second. But coming to the input-output devices, these are the very slow devices compared to the processor. Now, to compensate the processor and I/O devices, some set of interfaces we are using. No, those are called the I/O interfaces. These are inserted in between the processor and I/O devices. Here, in this unit, the first topic is accessing I/O devices. In this one, the first one, we are using a single bus to connect the processor and memory with the I/O devices. The following diagram shows how we are connecting the processor, memory, and by using the single bus. Now here is the single bus structure. Here the processor is there and memory is there. Single bus. Now it is also called as a system bus, which is used to connect the I/O device 1 and I/O device 2 and so on, some set of I/O devices to the either processor as well as the memory unit. Now here comes the second diagram. Here a system bus contains 3 different types of buses: address bus and address lines, data lines, and control lines. Now comes to this one, I/O interface. This is the equipment we are using to connect the I/O devices to the processor as well as memory. In this I/O interface, these are the 3 different types of things we are performing. Now the first one is address decoder. Now which will find which device we are using, which input device or which output device we are using. This is the address of the either input device or output device. Now coming to the control circuits. Now here it sends some signals. It contains some signals. Used on those signals, it can perform either input or output operation, and particularly a specific device. Coming to the data and status registers. Now the data which is available in this one is exchanged in between the memory as well as input devices, or the processor as well as input devices. Okay. In this one, initially the program controlled I/O is performed. What is actually the program controlled I/O means? In this technique, the processor polls all the I/O devices regularly if any input or output processing is there. Now in this process, the processor always waits up to the completion of input process as well as output process. Here, what is the main problem is the processor waits maximum amount of time. The processor time is very crucial. To improve the throughput and processor time, now we are using 2 different types of concepts. Those are interrupts as well as DMA. These two concepts are very, very important to control or to synchronize the input units with the processor. Now here comes the first topic, interrupts. Now what is actually an interrupt means? It is a hardware signal sent from the input device or output device. Now this is similar to the function call in programming languages. What is actually the function call means? Whenever the function is called, the main program is interrupted and the program control is transferred to the function, and after completion of the function only the program control comes back to the main program. The same way interrupts are also performed. Here processor starts execution of the some module whenever the input is required or output is required. From the input unit or output unit, it sends some signal to the processor. At that time only the processor reacts and that input function or output function is performed. Now that is called as interrupt service routine. Some set of routines we are using which is especially for the interrupts purpose. Those routines are initially completed. After completion of those units only we are coming back to this one. In this example we are using two types of routines. One is the compute routine and another one is the print routine. Initially the compute routine is started and then executing some set of computations. Whenever comes to the print, whenever we are going to print one line of information, at that time the print routine is started. Now that is called interrupt. After performing the print routine, again the control comes back to the compute. If the processor is not performing the concept, if it is waiting for the completion of the print routine, now at that time the processor receives some signal from the print routine and parallelly compute as well as print or parallelly executing. Now the following diagram shows this process. Now here comes the diagram. It is program 1 and program 2. Program 1 is the compute routine and program 2 is the print routine. Initially it starts executing by the processor. Now here it is the process coming on. Here at the time the interrupt occurs, and what is actually here the program compute or compute routine requires to print one line of information. Here the interrupt occurs and the program control transferred to the print routine. After completing the print routine only it comes back to the next line of the I. Now that is I plus 1, and then here the process is started. Now this is the way how the interrupts are maintaining. Now these are the subtopics available in interrupts. Interrupt hardware, enabling and disabling interrupts, handling multiple devices, and finally exceptions. Here comes the first concept, interrupt hardware. Here this diagram shows how the hardware is constructed for handling the interrupts. Now these are the different types of interrupts. These are all connected to the processor. Here whenever the processor is executing, any device or any interrupt comes from this one and interrupts the processor. The second subtopic is enabling and disabling interrupts. Here the device raises an interrupt request and then the processor interrupts the program currently being executed, and then interrupts are disabled by changing the control bits in the processor stack, and then the device is informed that its request has been recognized, and in response it deactivates the interrupt request signal, and then the action requested by the interrupt is performed by the interrupt service routine. Finally, the interrupts are enabled and execution of the interrupted program is resumed. Now the third subtopic is handling multiple devices. Here, how we are handling multiple devices means every device is having its own priority. Here, those priorities are used to activate and deactivate the I/O devices. The following diagram shows how implementation of interrupt priority using individual interrupt queue and acknowledge lines. Here in this diagram, now this is the processor. Here some set of devices are there, and those are having some signals, interrupted signals. These are connected to the processor, and how the processor activates these interrupts is completely based on the priority scheme. This diagram shows the arrangement of the priority groups. Here in this one, the top level high priority devices are arranged, and then goes down to this one, low priority devices are used. This is the priority arbitration circuit. It monitors the priority arbitration, like whenever the lower priorities devices is executing, it comes the higher priority request, it disables the lower priority device and activates the highest priority device. The last subtopic here is exceptions. We all know what is actually an exception means. It is a condition which is raised whenever the hardware interrupts are there and then external interrupts are there, which is also handled in many programming languages like C++, Java, and so many object-oriented programming languages. Today we discussed about the Unit 4 in computer organization, that is input-output organization. In this input-output organization, we discussed two topics. Those are accessing I/O devices and then interrupts. Interrupt is the one of the important concept which improves the execution speed as well as throughput of the processor. Now in the coming videos we will discuss about the remaining topics in the Unit 4. Now that's all now. Stay home and stay safe.